Hey, ladies and gents, we're back with some Avorion, and we are talking about multiple ships. A while back, there was a patch that was done that as you progressed through the game and as you built more ships, the level of material you needed to start a ship would also progress. What I'm talking about is specifically, let's jump into our drone here. We're going to build a ship here real quick. We're going to found a ship. And normally it's 500 iron, but this is not an alliance ship. Since I'm in an alliance, I'm going to create an alliance, or create an alliance ship. When I do, you'll notice the cost. Every ship costs a basic material founding fee. The more ships you own, the higher the material tier. Now the problem is I have over 20 ships outside of the barrier. Once you get to 20, 21 will turn to Avorion. Below that, I think it's like 17 to 20 is Ogonite, like 14 to 17 is Xanian. Below that, 14 to 10 is like Trinium. But you get what I'm saying. So as you build like 1 through 5, it's iron to produce the ship. After 5 ships, then it becomes titanium. After titanium, it's going to cost you 500 material to make it every time. So I'm founding ship number 30. Obviously, I'm way past 20, so we're using Avorion. How do you get to Avorion when you're not even inside the barrier? I'm still at the barrier here, of course, making these videos. So I'm not inside the center of the galaxy to even have the material to produce another ship. How do you get around this? Well, there's two ways to do this. One, don't create an alliance ship. What you do is you create your persona as Z3M, or Zem as everybody calls me, which is going to be this guy. So we're going to create that. So now you're going to notice that he's going to be green, and my alliance ship is, of course, in purple. Still the same people, right? But it's the difference between an alliance and yourself, which has got some definite benefits to it, but we're, of course, talking about the video here. So I've created this ship as myself using only iron. Once you do that, you go up to the player menu, and you find your fleet at the top up here. If you go to Alliance, it gives you the Alliance fleet. Of course, we use the top one, and what we're going to do is we're going to transfer this ship to the Alliance. Alright, so we just got around the whole 500 Avorion thing. It cost me 500 iron to build another ship in this game. I didn't really like the whole thing. At one point, they were talking about not only being increased in material, but they're also talking about increasing in cost. So the first ship was going to cost you 500 iron and like 500,000. The second ship would be like 500 iron and 750,000, and then the third ship it would and up all the way up to Trinium, and then the Trinium was going to go to like 1 million or 2 million per ship that you built, and was just going to continue. Luckily, they didn't do that. They just did the material. But this is a way around that whole crap show, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not sure why they did it. It might be just for more gameplay, because you have to. The only other option to doing it, what I just did, is of course capture ships and turn them into what you want to do with them. Otherwise, you're stuck with this whole I can't build any more ships once I get to Ogonite. So we don't need this. We're gonna just get rid of this ship, and we're gonna show you the other way of doing this. All right, he's gone, and we got some of our material back, and a little bit of cash. We're gonna jump back into this guy. Now, capturing enemy ships to do this, to get around the whole maximum number of ships you have, requires you finding, of course, an enemy ship to do. There is a couple different ways of doing this. Honestly, the easiest way, of course, is just simply find one of these mining sectors. Usually they're a green dot that's not on the gate system. So this is one, for example. There is one ship of the Lauji, and a bunch. So this is going to be a heavy miner, and you can find them. I think there's one here. So there's several different places where you'll find these, and these are probably the easiest ships to take. You can of course take warships and freighters. Problem is they move really fast, so you either got to shoot out the engines to keep them from getting away, or hope to God that your crew shuttles are fast enough to catch them. These miners don't move around a lot. So these are, and there's always up to one, sometimes there's two in here. Remember, if you act 2 acts of piracy, taking 2 ships, you're going to get a fleet jumping in on you. So usually only take 1. But yeah, it's just a simple thing. So if you don't know about crew boarding, and of course I'm going to do a video about it eventually here when I start getting through. I have a trading one coming up for people that have asked me about the trading things. But essentially what it is you hire boarders, and these are rather expensive. They're about 2,000 for a boarder. And you also need crew shuttles to do this. You also need, of course, with crew shuttles, pilots. So it gets a little expensive to build this up. However, if you don't want to use essentially the exploit I just showed you how to do it, and you want to do it the way the game is probably intended to be played, you got to go this route. Entirely up to you. So what you need to do is once you get some shuttles, which you can pick up at anything past the Neonite level, they'll have fighters or shuttles and all that kind of stuff. You have to, of course, have trinium to get the hangar block. There is the trinium hangar block. So you're gonna have to get into trinium before you're even going to start boarding anything anyway, because you have to have this hangar block to put fighters into it. But once again, I'm simply just showing you how to get around this whole. I don't want to spend. I want more than one. I want more than just a few ships. So we're gonna get a little closer here. We're gonna hit him. We're gonna get down around 30%, and then we're gonna be able to board him. One more should be enough. There's the sign for it. So we'll hit the boarding party. Usually you don't need much more than 30 to 50 boarders to take a ship. And once we get him, this is like I said, one way around the whole where you're screwed because you can't build more ships. By taking this guy, you're getting around it because you don't need a starting block built out of whatever. This simply lets you jump into a new ship already, or jumps into a ship, and of course, once you get the ship, you're going to be able to change it. So, God, those are ugly. I should have just built some shuttles. I have shuttle designs. They're so ugly. And we almost got this guy done. There we go. Now you have a new ship. And we're going to close up with him here, and we're going to get my boarders off there in case some wild shit happens, like pirates jump in and decide to destroy my boarders. So you have to remove the boarders. Yeah, there we go. We remove the boarders, and now we have essentially a miner. So it's also one way, of course, to build or to create miners if you don't want to build them from scratch. We're going to look at him from the other side. Kind of an interesting design. I usually, for the most part, do these. I take these and I save them here to the save designs, and I can just copy and paste the other side that got blown off. But depending on the ship, so if you did this to a freighter, you get to keep the cargo and won't be considered stolen. And if you do it to a headhunter, could be anything on there from systems to, I think there's systems. Nope, they don't have any systems on it, but they do have mining turrets. So now if you want to, you can take the mining turrets off. You just got to find them. So you picked up, some turrets, that kind of stuff. There's one. Did I blow one off? There's the other one. Sometimes these are not always easy to find. So we picked up a couple iron turrets. They're not worth anything, obviously, to the point where I'm at. And so what do you want to do with this thing? You can, there's several, like I said, if you want to turn it into one of your own designs and get around this crap with, if I want to build, well, not that one, but if I wanted to build this one, I would just simply apply the design to it and go up here to the Alliance, and we'll go to the fleet, and I can of course change this right here. So it's named minor whatever, and you simply go to the rename and you can rename this to whatever you want. And now I have another ship, and it didn't cost me anything for a starting block, and it gets around the whole build too many ships, it's going to start costing you an Avorion. Since I don't have anything on this ship that I want, there is no cargo, there is no systems, and I've taken off all of the turrets. I can do a couple different things. I can simply delete it, or you can take this ship and go all the way up to, say, a scrapyard right here and scrap the ship for money. Entirely up to you, or you can keep it, of course, to get around the whole progression of material to get get more ships or multiple ships. So with that said, guys, I am done. I have another video coming up about trading. So yes, people, I do read your comments. If I don't respond, it's because I'm just an asshole like that. Ask my wife. I think I've told you this story about sending a 2-paragraph, and I say yes, and she says it's not a yes or no question, because I'm just terrible. If you have questions, just jump in my Discord, because I am always on, usually after 9 o'clock. And you can ask to your heart's content if you have a really deep question, that kind of stuff. So with that said, guys, I will talk to you later, and you guys have a good night.